The NAB Show has finally arrived, and this is typically the time of year where Blackmagic releases new hardware. We've already seen the announcement of the HyperDeck shuttle, and if you haven't seen my video on that, head on back a couple videos and check it out. So what do we think could be ahead in the future ATEM releases? I'll start off by saying I have no clue what Blackmagic has in store, but all of these predictions below are simply speculation and from what I'm seeing happen in the industry. Let's begin with Blackmagic's ATEM Television Studio Pro lineup. They currently have a switcher that does HD with 8 inputs and a model that can do 4K with up to 8 inputs as well. Neither of these switchers have a built-in encoder, which is quite shocking seeing as even the $500 ATEM Mini Pro can do that. These switchers also don't have scalers on all of the inputs, which is crazy to me because yet again, the $500 switcher does do this. So my big prediction is that this entire lineup of switchers is going to get an overhaul. There's no way a company would want to keep products that are a quarter of the cost and cannibalizing their higher end models. So there's most likely a mad dash to innovate here. I'm sure COVID may have pushed back their plans with supply chain issues and shortages on computer chips. So I'm going to give Blackmagic the benefit of the doubt and predict that we might see an announcement of a new lineup of TV Studio Pro switchers, but they might not be shipping right out of the gate. And even if they do, we'll most likely see shortages for the first 3 to 4 months. Moving along this theme, I think the ATEM Mini lineup is going to be good for a little bit. I don't think Blackmagic wants to change this up a whole lot, so they can spend time focusing on the pro users for a bit. So with that, I'm thinking the ATEM Mini lineup is going to be on pause for another 6 to 12 months, while the TV studios should see an update this year. Here are some thoughts on what we might end up seeing. First up is SuperSource. These $3,000 switchers don't even have it. So I'm predicting a SuperSource with up to 6 boxes and reserving 2 of the 8 inputs for a foreground and or background. Maybe we get lucky and they bump that up to 8 boxes. The existing models have a mix of configurations between either 8 SDI inputs and 8 SDI outputs with a program out, multi-view out, and aux out, or alternatively, there are models with 4 HDMI inputs, 4 SDI inputs, and 4 SDI outputs, along with the same multi-view, program, and aux outputs. However, none of these switchers have a USB-C output, so recording ISO files or even just a program file direct to a hard drive is one feature where the ATEM Mini Pros are taking the cake. In fact, the USB on these switchers is only 2.0, so it's very limited right now. I have a hard time seeing them not include dual USB-C connections on the next switcher and incorporating video playback from an SSD. One wildcard thought that I have is the potential for an NDI version of the ATEM switcher, and the reason why it's a wildcard is because NDI is created by NewTek, and so they'd need to purchase a license in order to use it. I don't know that one of their top competitors is going to be so willing to do that, but that isn't to say that Blackmagic might not come up with their own method of transporting video over Ethernet, seeing as they've already been doing that with the streaming bridge and some of their new studio cameras. This is one area I haven't explored as much, so I'm going to double asterisk this one and say I really don't know enough to comment here, but I'm going to toss my hat into the ring and say maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised. Some other things I thought about include the possibility for a touchscreen. Right now, the screen on the ATEM TV switchers is too small to really be useful for anything, which is fine because there are multi-view and aux outputs on the back of the unit, but then why incorporate it in the first place? I'm thinking that in the next iteration, we'll either see the screen removed entirely or we may see a larger enhanced screen. Perhaps a touchscreen? They've got one in their new HyperDeck Extreme 4K HDR all the way down to their video assist monitors, so why not bring it into the lineup here? Some final thoughts. This new, not yet released switcher is going to need to compete with lower end prosumer models that simply pack way more features in. So it's going to need to have a built-in encoder, it's going to need USB-C connectivity as well as recording, and it's going to need to incorporate the SuperSource as a bare minimum. I'm not sure what else Blackmagic has in store, but perhaps if they at some point thought to include an add-on to the ATEM software control to create a built-in titling software, we might start to see something that will compete with a TriCaster. Even the YOLO Box, a consumer-level live streaming unit, has a built-in touchscreen with the ability to create graphics and text on the fly. Oh, and did I mention it has a SIM card slot so you can stream over cellular? I'll leave that prediction for another time, but if you want to hit the like and subscribe button below and meet me down in the comments section, then we can have a friendly chat about what other features might be coming out soon on the Blackmagic switchers. See you down there!